Germany, but you're older than your country apparently.
I'm older than my country. That is actually true. I grew up in what's known as the GDR, the German Democratic Republic, which after World War II was the part of Germany that was controlled by Russia. It existed from 1949 until 1989, so it was only about 40 years old, and here I am, 44. So the country doesn't exist anymore, but it was a very interesting place to grow up.
Okay, so what was the first day of school like there?
It is very different from what it's like in the United States. Do you remember your first day of kindergarten?
Barely. But yes.
So, do you do anything in America? I mean, you did something.
Yeah, of course I did something, but most of the day we just colored anyway.
Okay. So, in East Germany, what you actually did is you get what it's called a sugar cone or a school cone.
Oh, we did that once.
Yeah, but that's because you're German, not because you're American.
Yeah.
In America, you don't do that. And the sugar cone or school cone, kinder cone, contains a lot of fun things. A lot of times it contains school supplies, it can contain clothing, maybe some toys, maybe some candy, and normally
Slime.
it's only slime.
Yeah.
We did not have slime
You
in
put
ours.
like putty or something.
No.
in your one.
We have the kinder cones, and then the children get those on the very first day of school to make the beginning of the more serious part of life more palatable and fun.
Okay, so a few more questions, Mom. So, like, what was the school day like? Was it really fun, or, well, for fun for you, obviously, you love school too much, but, like, was it hard? Was it easy? Other than passing notes?
Anyway, so our school days usually started about 7 o'clock, and then we were done at lunchtime. Our classes were usually 45 minutes long, and we had a lot of different ones. Instead of ELA like you have, we had German, but we also had music, we had art, we had a lot of PE, we had a lot of math, we had a lot of reading classes, and we also had to go to school on Saturdays. We got out a little bit earlier, around lunchtime, but unlike you, we didn't have a lot of after-school sports. There wasn't anything like that at all. And you had a lot of homework. Under normal circumstances, you have only a few minutes of homework. We had hours of homework, a lot of things. And
You would love that.
I did, but I loved school way more than you did. And yeah, we had school on Saturdays. You didn't have that. And on Wednesdays, a lot of times we had a meeting for the pioneers, which were kind of like the scouts of America. And we learned how to recycle. That was one really big thing. We learned a bunch of songs. We learned the history of the country.
And
it was a good thing to learn about citizenship in the country. So it was very similar to your scouts.
And you never got your good ice cream. Okay, so, what was the food like there? Like, what did you get for breakfast? Delicious breakfast, their favorite part of the day.
Interestingly enough, it was very different from what it is in the United States, because most people here go and have cereal, or they can go and pick up a breakfast sandwich, or they have pancakes and bacon. We did not have any of that. We actually couldn't even go to the grocery store to get cereal, because we didn't have it. It was a delicacy. You could only find it at the store like once or twice a year, and it was a rarity. And it was only plain cornflakes, nothing like the fancy ones that you have here.
Well, I don't like...
Also, we don't have pancakes and bacon. We usually eat rolls or really nice fresh bread from the bakery with cold cuts and cheese and Nutella.
Okay, so like what holidays did you do? Because that would probably be really fun. Though I don't think you had Halloween, so...
We did not have Halloween. We didn't have the pumpkins, so that was something that I thought was really fun when I first moved over here. But we had something called Fasching, which is not in October. It's usually in February, and everybody gets to dress up. It's not spooky at all, so it's more like pirates and princesses and that kind of thing. And we have some pictures we can show you.
Oh yeah, like the princess picture that you have.
Yes, my very fancy princess picture.
That you already daydreamed about Disney, but if you even said anything about it, you'd get kicked out of the school.
That is true. Thanks for bringing that up. So one of the things that you children like here is Disney World. Everybody knows Disney World. When I grew up, Disney was not allowed. Mickey Mouse was considered a very bad thing.
Somehow. magic is never bad.
Thank you.
Well, what are some other different things, like the things that you did have, but you rarely got to, like stuff like that? Foods and stuff.
One of the things that most Americans love is ketchup on just about anything. We did not have ketchup when I was growing up. And like many other things, that you could only find that at the stores once or twice a year. Same was true with bananas. That like here it is very unusual to not find bananas, but we did not have any of that. Same thing with grapes, same thing with watermelons. We were able to buy the most basic things, but for everything else, we had to stand in line. Like for example, you couldn't just go to a store and buy clothes. Like if you decide today you want to buy a dress, I couldn't do that, because you would have to figure out, okay, on Thursdays is when the truck with the clothes arrives. You do not know what's in the truck, but you stand in line because in case you might find something that you need. Same thing is true for shoes, same thing is true for...
Shoes? I love shoes.
Who doesn't? But again, you didn't know what was available, and you had to be prepared, and it took a long time to get anything you really needed. And one thing that's kind of interesting to me is cars. You know how easy it is here to buy a car?
Now it's like snap, but I remember the picture with the cardboard car that you showed.
We had cardboard cars, and we had to wait for those for 12 to 18 years, depending on what your job was. Can you imagine like wanting to, oh, I need a car, and then putting your name on a list, and it takes 18 years?
So, what different language should you speak, though? I bet most of everyone knows.
We actually speak German, and you know some of the words.
Hallo, wie geht's dir?
Hallo, wie geht's dir? Mir geht's gut. Und dir?
Gut.
Wunderbar. Aber in der Schule haben wir auch, sorry, I just couldn't go back. We actually learned many languages. Since Germany is such a small country, you depend on learning different languages. Mostly now Europeans learn English as a first language, but when I grew up, the most important language was Russian. So actually in 5th grade, I started learning Russian, and I remember a lot of that. I did not start learning English until 7th grade.
You pick up in English like this.
I do. Remember when Daddy was mad at me with Italian?
We see you.
We see you.